Testing. I hope everyone can hear me clearly. My name's Michelle Riley, and I want to welcome you to this will be my first Zoom YouTube Live. I've done a few lives in the past. It's been quite a few years, though, since I have. So this may be a little bumpy. I'm going to strap in, and I hope that you will do the same. I want to thank you for coming to hang out with me for just a little bit. We've got a very exciting topic. Doretta, I can always count on you. It's good to see you. Thank you, Doretta, for saying what county that you're from. That was one of the questions I wanted to make sure that I asked everyone, and that is to share what county. And Doretta, can you give me a quick mic check? Can you hear me loud and clear? Oh, fingerprinting gurus. I tell you, fingerprinting gurus gets around the state. I think you are, what county? Jefferson County? Fingerprinting gurus, I think so, but I believe you extend to, okay, based out of Jefferson County. Definitely, if you are in need of fingerprinting for your professional licenses, employment, and other needs, reach out to fingerprinting gurus. Uganda, I tell you, y'all are looking out for me this evening. Thank you so much, Uganda from Jefferson County. I was a little concerned that I'd be speaking to empty seats, but the three of you have reassured me that will not be the case. Let's see what time it is. Yeah, we've got just 2 more minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and I want to be able to share my screen this evening because I think this is a really interesting topic. We will be talking about the infamous Alabama marriage certificate. How many of you, Doretta, fingerprinting gurus, Uganda, have you had an opportunity yet to notarize signatures on an Alabama marriage certificate? If so, just type Y or yes. If not, type N or no. And if you have done one, did it go as expected? I sure hope so. As soon as the law was changed here in Alabama about the way couples get married, I jumped right in. So I've performed just under, let me not exaggerate. I've done about 80 to 85. No, that's not true. You're talking about remote notarizations. So I have not tracked how many marriage certificates. It's been at least that many, if not a little more. So let's see. Fingerprinting Gurus has definitely done Alabama marriage certificate. Uganda, great. Hi, welcome, Salted Tall Elegance. Glad you could join, and you've notarized them as well. This is a type of notarization I love to do. For all the right reasons. The signers are happy. At least all of mine have been. It's kind of a festive environment. And what we're going to talk about today is we want to find out what have been some of the most common mistakes that couples have made on the Alabama marriage certificate form and what notaries have made. And these mistakes have resulted in those certificates not being recorded. So that's why I think it's very important. Greg, good to see you. Thank you, Doretta. I really appreciate that. And there is a little bit of a delay, just so you all know, between when I'm broadcasting in the Zoom environment and how long it takes to come over here to YouTube. So if I don't see your post or your question right away, that is why. For those who may be joining us or watching this video later, my name is Michelle Riley. I am the owner of Notaries for Alabama. I'm also a commissioned notary here in Madison County. One of the things I enjoy doing is training Alabama notaries and just creating spaces for us to get together and talk about the rewards and challenges and concerns about being a commissioned Alabama notary. Many of the folks who are watching live are part of that community and have been for quite some time. I do want to let you know there is a free Facebook group called Notaries for Alabama Hangout. That is where we hang out, post questions, exchange best practices, and you are free to join us. All right, family, let's see if I can share my screen. Wish me luck here. I'm going to say okay there. This is a little better, I think. All right, we're going to do this. And now let's see if I can't get back to seeing all of you. So give me a moment. Right now I am in Zoom, so I cannot see those who are watching. And let's see if I can't come up with a way to alter that. And let's see, give me just a moment. We're going to close that and want to make sure the live chat is going. All right. The good news, the slides are working. The not so good news is I can't figure out how to get back to YouTube. So there, Fingerprinting Guru, if you're still watching, would you please go ahead and just type something else in the chat for me, and let's see if it shows up for me. And then if not, I'm just going to go ahead and hit the main points and then stop sharing my screen and see what I have. In fact, let's see. All right, that is good. I knew there'd be some bumps in the road. And what if I minimize? All right. So just so you know, if you ask a question, I will not be able to see it. But let's go ahead and get right into the material. So I want to first start off by thanking the team here in Madison County, Alabama, the probate office. About a week ago, I reached out to the recording clerks team, in fact, the chief clerk of operations, Ms. Gomez. I let her know that I wanted to speak with notaries and identify the most common mistakes that show up on the Alabama marriage certificate, and I told her I needed her help in order to find that out. She responded within 1 to 2 days, no hesitation whatsoever. And so I want to thank her. She reached out to her team and they put together a list, and that's what we're going to go over today. Those of you who are in Jefferson County, Blount County, other counties, if you haven't done this yet, I want to encourage you to do so. The next time you are at the probate office introduce yourself, not only as a commissioned notary, but as one who travels, one who specializes in the Alabama marriage certificate, so that you can build that dialogue, that relationship. And it will, I feel, make a big difference. So again, thank you for coming through for this evening's live. And again, what we're talking about are the top, I think it's going to be about 10 to 13 common mistakes. The very first common mistake that keeps documents from being filed and processed is that the marriage certificate must be typed, not handwritten. Now, the team here in Madison County was quick to say, Michelle, we can't speak for all 67 counties. And so it's possible some counties will allow the bride and groom to print their information. And when I'm talking about printing, I am talking about the section with the name and date of birth, that information. I'm hoping that you guys are able to see this. And if you aren't able to see it, Greg, I know you have a cell phone number for me. If you would, please send me a text message if you cannot see it, if you do that for me. So this is important. So when the notary gets the call from the public, from the prospective bride and groom saying that they want to be married, encourage them to go online to alabamapublichealth.gov. Again, that's alabamapublichealth.gov. I'll be sure to include the URL after the live is done. Have them go online and complete it. It's a PDF form that they're completing so that the information is typed clearly. This is so important because when all is said and done, once this gets processed, this is the final document, what you see on the screen. There will be no fancy special marriage certificate issued by the state. So this is not only the application applying for, awesome, thank you, Greg. This is the application form, and it is also the final product. And so that's why it's so important that this information be legible. And Greg, I'm going to count on you if any important questions come up that you think I need to address, send them over for me, please, that come up in chat. All right, so it would be wise for you, those of you who are using your commission as a business, check with your home county. Ask them, will they accept a handwritten Alabama marriage certificate from the spouses, from the couples? And if so, that's what you communicate. But here in Madison County, I can confidently state they will not accept it if it is not typed. Okay? The next common mistake, and I'm going to call it a recommendation, is that blocks 1 and 13 on the form, the couple's names must be their complete and current government names. So block 1 is for we'll say the bride to print her first name, middle name, last name. And let me go back so that you can see that. But when I say complete and current government name, I'm talking about, forget about nicknames. Pseudonyms, we're talking about your legal name. And when I say complete, we're talking about if you're a senior, include senior. If you're the second, the third, include that. Include your middle names as well. Okay? And the sections blocks 1 and 13. This is block number 1. And this is block number 13. So making sure the couple, this is really for the couple. And I'll talk more later about how I reinforce the need for the couple to take ownership that this information, this section of the form is done correctly. All right. Moving on. Blocks number 2 and 14 require the couple's last name at birth. So block number 2 is here for the first person, the first couple. Block 14 is here. So for those individuals who've never had a name change, for any reason, marriage or changing name, this last name will probably, for most people, match the same last name that they provided in blocks 1 and 13. But if one of the spouses changed their last name, that's when you'll see a difference. Okay, so it's very clear. Block number 2 says last name prior to first marriage. And the clerks do check this information, so it's so important that you include it. Make sure you're giving the last name when the couple was born, when they came out of the womb. All right. The next advice from the clerks at the probate office: make sure blocks 6 and 18 are done correctly. These blocks ask for the couple's residence county name, the county name where they live. And again, that's block 6, residence county, and block 18. What is happening is, in their excitement, in their haste, they're reading it too fast, and instead they're putting in USA because the couple's thinking they need to put their country name, the name of their country. It is the name of their county. You know, I can relate to this because to join the Hangout group on Facebook, Notaries for Alabama Hangout, I ask for the Notaries county name, and I can't tell you how often they give me a wrong answer. All right. The next section on the form that often gets filled out incorrectly are blocks number 7 and 19. For these blocks, the form is asking for the resident state or their home state. Where do they live? And of course, for most of our notarizations, it's going to be Alabama, but it could be Georgia, it could be New York, because as we know, you do not have to live in Alabama in order to be married in Alabama. I'm working with a couple now who is toying with the idea of flying from where they live to Alabama to get this completed. So it happens quite a bit. So again, in these blocks 7 and 19, make sure they are listing the state where they reside And if they do not reside in the United States, just checking my messages, they need to list the country where they reside. Okay? Moving on. Again, we're looking at, if some of you are just now joining us, we are going through the Alabama marriage certificate that must be completed by couples who want to get married in the state of Alabama. And this is the form that gets presented to an Alabama notary public for notarization. And what we're talking about right now is the importance of everything being correct on this form in order for it to be recorded and in order for the marriage to be recognized. All right. Blocks 10 and blocks 22. 10 and 22. All right. Again, this is state for birth or country of birth if born in a foreign country. Moving on, the form does request the name of the parents for both individuals getting married, whether it's bride and groom, groom and groom, bride and bride, whatever, whomever I should say. They need to disclose their parents' names. And so it's important when adding the parents' names, the couple needs to make sure they include their parents' full, complete government names on the form. It is going to ask for their current legal name, and it will also ask for, let me back up. It asks for their full name prior to when they got married. So this is correct, where what their names were when they were children. All right. Typically, I know for those of us who are born in America, get married in America, the name of the bride is the one that usually, or that gets changed. But now in other cultures, the groom's name could also change. So it's really important that couples getting married provide the correct parent's name as requested on the form. Okay? Moving on. Again, with the Alabama marriage certificate, contact information, meaning telephone number, cell phone number, and address, that it is for the couple and not for the couple's parents. Believe it or not, the way that the template is set up online at alabamapublichealth.gov, it asks for the parents' names, and then below that, it asks for contact information. And so the bride and the groom are thinking, oh, they're going to call our parents to verify information. No. Alabama needs your phone number, your mailing address, so that they can reach out to you if there is an issue with the signed notarized certificate. Now, on the completed form, this information shows up at the bottom of the form. But when the couple's online inputting it, it's further up in the document. And yes, they will use this form. Now, and this is new. This was not here on the first version of the form, the contact information. But I guess the probate offices and the clerks said enough is enough. We need to be able to return incorrect documents back to the couple who were sitting there waiting, wondering what the delay is. So I think that was a good correction. Moving on, another area of the form that gets completed incorrectly frequently is that, and now this is something we have control over, notaries, the notary's signature date and the spouse's signature date must match. So in this example, we've got spouse number 1, who is John Quentin Public Jr. He signed his name and dated it, in this example, on May 7, 2021. It is imperative that the notary, Ginger Snap, sign and date on the exact same date. So notaries, of everything we've talked about, or I've talked about so far, this we can control. We really can't control what the bride and groom or the groom and groom fill out. I do feel as notaries we should stress the importance of them double and triple checking the information, verifying that it is correct. But for us, we do have control in making sure that our signature and our notarization date matches the date with the signer. And in order for that to happen, it's imperative that we're meeting on the same date and we're watching the bride, the groom, the bride sign their name. All right? This is not something they can do at home, sign and date at home and bring to us. So this comes up quite a bit. Now, before I leave this example, it is okay for us to meet with the groom on one day and the bride on another day. And in that situation, Jane Blue signed on May 13, 2021, and Jack Hammer, even a different notary public, which is fine, signed and dated on May 13, 2021. That is fine. The probate office will process that without any problem because the signature date of the couple matches the signature date for each notary respectively. Moving on. Let's say there is a mistake made on the form, the Alabama marriage certificate. We're going into June now. And so it's going to be a common mistake with notarizations for someone to start writing 5/30 something as a date, when in fact, starting tomorrow, it is June 1st. Corrections, cross-outs, initialing are never allowed on this form. And so notaries, when you are meeting with the couple, if they make a mistake, let them know up front. Stop, start over, because no correction whatsoever will be accepted. I ask the couples that I meet with to bring, if I meet with them in person, because I am able to do this remotely, Alabama style remotely. And Greg, I did see your answer, which is why I got thrown off that quickly. It's So when I meet with them in person, I ask the couple to bring an extra copy of the marriage certificate. I tell them, don't just print one copy, print two just in case the couple makes a mistake or I make a mistake. Otherwise, the appointment has to be canceled. Now, if you're meeting with the couple in an office, it's very easy to print out another copy. Good question, fingerprinting guru. The question is there a recommended ink color? Black or blue? Nothing else. I've been told if the couple, which I've had done, or the notary uses any other color, it will not be processed. When I first got started, I was stressing blue. And then when I checked with my county, they told me it doesn't matter. Black is accepted. And so black, blue, you're good to go. Anything else, you are not. Thank you, fingerprinting guru, and thank you, Greg. I tell you, there's always someone willing to help. Before I leave this, okay, cross-outs initially, good. Moving on, we're almost done. Also, it's imperative, notaries, that both signatures must be individually notarized. I know you're wondering, what does Michelle mean by that? Apparently, there are notaries who are treating this as a regular lawyer-prepared contract or letter where you can have two signatures, one for the husband, one for the wife, and then the notary is only required to stamp once and sign once. So yes, what I'm saying is they are getting this form with only one notary seal and one notary signature, but yet they met with both the bride and the groom. And so in that case, it is an incomplete notarization. John Public needs his signature sealed and notarized. Jane needs her own notary seal as well. Okay? I was really surprised to see that on the list. All right. Box 25 and box 26. This is box 25. This is box 26. Be sure each spouse signs in their designated space. Now, I'll admit, the first few Alabama marriage certificates that I did, I got a little tripped up. I'm going back to 2019. And so because, now it doesn't matter up here whose name goes first, but once, for this form, whoever filled it out, John Public is in box number 1, and so he now becomes spouse number 1. So it's imperative down here for box number 25, it says spouse 1 signature. If Jane signed over here, that's a problem. So what has to match up is spouse number 1's information with spouse number 1's signature. Okay? And then the same over here. Jane is spouse number 2. Notary, I feel it's up to us to instruct the bride and groom to make sure they sign in the appropriate space. I really do. If you disagree with me, tell me why. And I'll be happy to debate you on that. All right. The other frequent mistake is that gets made is the notary can only notarize for the spouse that he or she meets with. I get this question. I get calls from notaries from around the state. And unfortunately, the couple fills out this form on their own. And then one of them goes and meets with the notary to get it notarized. And they have to be turned away. So when you get that phone call that says, Greg, can you notarize my Alabama marriage certificate? Before you get off that phone, make it clear to the couple whose signature needs to be notarized. And if it's both of them, they both need to show up and meet with you. The next tip the probate clerks have for us: notary must include their official seal and commission expiration date for each spouse. This was the first mistake I made back in 2019 that prevented a bride from recording her marriage certificate. I did not include my commission expiration date, and she went to the probate office and got turned away. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, they could have looked it up online. They have their rules. So thankfully, she called me. She came. We met up again. I fixed my mistake, and I even gave her back the fee that she and her husband paid me for the inconvenience. And so it doesn't matter. This is important. This is not what they told me, but I want to point this out. It doesn't matter if you use the embosser seal. It doesn't matter if you use the ink seal. It doesn't matter if you use the rectangular seal. But your official notary seal with your name, the jurisdiction, and your title must appear, at least that much. Now, I know someone is about to ask me, if my commission expiration date is on my seal, do I have to still fill it in? I don't know. And so I fill it in anyway, because I figure more is better than not. I would encourage you to check with the probate office in your county and ask them that if your expiration date is part of your seal. If someone who is watching knows the answer to this question, would you let us know? If your expiration date is part of your seal and you have notarized the Alabama marriage certificate, was it an issue for you to not write it in here? Did it get rejected? That's the question. All right. That is or was our last tip from the clerks. And again, I want to thank the clerks in Madison County for going through that with providing that information to us for this evening. Now, this is not training that we did. These were just tips. I was asked earlier this week, when will there be a full training class on the Alabama marriage certificate? I currently conduct this class live Zoom. I haven't done it in person yet. And this is where we go through the form what goes in which block. But then we go through, not only do we talk about the way to correctly notarize this document, we go on to talk about how to calculate correctly the notary fee, what type of oath to administer, what other services, non-notary services, you can offer the couple for their convenience. For those of you who are operating a notary business. So if this is something of interest to you, you can head over to my website, trainalabama.com, and register. And if you use coupon code YTBells, you will get a discount on that registration fee. The date for that class is June 7th. And it's going to be in the evening. Okay? trainalabama.com for more information about that class. Who knows? Maybe I will do one here on YouTube in the future. All right. Greg, I don't know if you are still watching, but anyone who is watching who is able to text me your question, I'm really leery about trying to get back in so that I can read it, read your comments, and I feel real bad about that. Again, my name's Michelle Riley. I'm coming to you from Madison County, and this is my first Zoom YouTube Live. And at least I'm up and running. I've just got to figure out how to both see the comments and not, and also share my screen. A resource that I want to point out to you, you do not, as notaries, you don't have to pay for training. The state of Alabama provides a wealth of helpful information on their website. alabamapublichealth.gov. Log in. You want to look for the Alabama Merit Certificate, and then spend at least a couple of hours reading. I'd say at least an hour and a half, studying the FAQ sheet, which is very helpful, and then also the instruction sheet. You can self-study for this and be fine. But if you learn differently and prefer being with other notaries, being able to ask questions, feel free to register for the June class. I want to thank you for joining me for this live this evening. Boy, this will go down in history for me. Again, I'm Michelle Riley, and if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, I would greatly appreciate it if you would. I am moving more of my education to YouTube to reach a broader, wider audience. And like most algorithms on Facebook and on YouTube, the more members, the more followers, the algorithm is more likely to pick it up. So if you would do that, and if you found this information helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would like to hear from you. I'd like to know what county you're in, and I'd like to know if there is another topic that you'd like for me to do my next live on, and I'll do my best to oblige. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And again, thank you for joining. I would stay on if I could make my way back out of Zoom, but we'll do that on another day. Have a great evening. And again, if you post any questions that I haven't answered, I'll make sure I do that this evening. Thanks again for joining. Take care.